Hi, and welcome to GCPA live streaming. We are bringing you different events today when we're just talking to different casts and board members and parents and things like that. And we just wanted to also, today what we're doing at this time is we're doing a pre-union, not a reunion, a pre-union for our Urinetown Cast. But before we do that, I wanted to just say that what we are doing today, why we are doing this, is because of we have a Give STL Day. So we are trying to raise money to help support our students, the people of GCPA, the students, and give them the ability to take classes during this time, and also to continue to support our teachers and staff during this time of stay home and all that good stuff. But without further ado, I wanted to bring in some of our Urinetown cast. So let's start with Annalise and Ian. Hello.
Hi.
Why don't you just tell us what character you play in Urinetown?
I'm Annalise. I play Little Becky Two Shoes.
And I'm Ian, and I play Hot Blades Harry. And
obviously you can tell that they're in the same room, so there's brother and sister. They're not brother and sister in the show, though. That's a different whole nother story. All right, great. So they're here, and we also have Ava. Say hi, Ava, and let us know about who you play in Urinetown.
I play Hope Cladwell.
Awesome. Oh, I should have asked, like, how do you know how many shows have you been in with GCPA?
3.
3. Awesome. And then Ian and Annalise, I forgot to ask you guys that.
I think Urinetown is our 3rd.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been in all our GCPA shows together.
Aw, that's very sweet. All right, awesome. Let's bring on Alex.
Hi.
And what character do you play, and how many shows have you been in with GCPA?
I play Little Sally, and I believe I've been in 6 or 7 GCPA shows.
Awesome. And who is your special guest you have with you?
This is Oatmeal the Bunny, and he's been in 1 GCPA show.
Right. Well, can you tell us a little bit about Oatmeal? Like, what's the deal with Oatmeal?
He's kind of a big star of the show, you know.
Oh.
You don't want to be him, though. You don't want to be the bunny.
No, you don't. All right. Thank you, Alex. We also have Jenna with us.
Hello.
And tell us what character you play and how many shows have you been in with GCPA?
So I play Miss Pennywise, and this is actually my first show, and I'm really, really excited to be a part of it.
Yay! Well, we're glad that you're here.
Yeah, me too.
Awesome. And we have Sammy here as well.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sammy. I play Beryl. Yeah, Beryl's a fun part. This is my 6th GCPA show. Wow.
6? Great. Hey, Paul's going to be joining us. Good, because I always flounder when I have to do things on the spot. Okay. Thank you, Sammy. We also have Noah here.
Hi.
Hey, Noah. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
What character do you play, and how many shows have you done with us?
I play Lock, Stock, and this is my 5th show.
Awesome. 5th? Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. And Thomas, last but not least.
Hello, I'm Thomas. I play Bobby Strong, and this is my, I believe, 4th show.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
All right.
All right. Well, let's bring some multiple people up to the screen here. So we were just going to ask and share some things about Urinetown. Do any one of you, or should I select people?
You can roll however you want.
You can raise your hand if you would like to answer. Oatmeal. What is Urinetown? Does somebody want to answer that question? It's a hard one.
Without spoilers.
Without spoilers. Jenna's got her hand up.
Yeah. So this story kind of takes place in the future, and we have been facing a 20-year drought, and it's causing the government to put a ban on toilets, so everyone has to pay to pee. And the government is controlling the town is called UGC, or You're in Good Company. And for years, the poor people have hated paying to pee, while the people of UGC live more of a luxurious life. And you must obey these laws or you will be sent to a mysterious place called Urinetown that everyone talks about. And people think it's a place that it leads to their ultimate demise. So the poor have started a revolution, and the protest the laws is led by a boy named Bobby Strong. And the whole story is filled with plot twists and laughs, and as the poor continue their revolt against UGC and leading to what might be at the end of Urinetown.
And Jenna is actually the enforcer of one of the toilets.
Penelope
Pennywise.
Pennywise.
Great. That was a very good synopsis, by the way.
Yeah. So this is a musical about people's private business, and it's got a title called Urinetown. Alex, your character of Little Sally asks all kinds of questions in regards to the title and why don't we talk about hydration? So why is it that people should come and see a show called Urinetown about people's bodily
Functions.
needs and functions?
To brighten their horizons, I guess. It's not what they expect.
How so? How is it not what people will expect?
When you hear Urinetown, it sounds unappetizing. So it wouldn't be your average show that you would want to see, but it will surprise you.
So why do people need to see this show? Does anyone want to answer that question? Annalise has her hand up, and then we can have Ava.
I think people need to see this show because I think it will bring awareness to what our future could be. Because I think it really is a story about climate change and about our political system. And I think it's something that we could all tune into a little bit more. And this story tells that through a comedic lens, and I think it gets the message across very clearly.
Good job. Ava, what about you?
I definitely completely agree with Annalise in the fact that it definitely is a show that really makes you think after you see it. And I really like shows like that personally, where you're like, whoa, I didn't expect to really think about myself and see our world in a show that has the word urine in the title.
Exactly. Noah has a comment.
Also, I feel that, during this quarantine, our environment is almost thriving because we're not polluting it. Like the ozone is repatching itself, my mom told me, which is insane. So this focuses on climate change. So if we took maybe a lesson after seeing the show, we could change our planet for the better.
All right.
Yeah. Good
thoughts. So Thomas, this show, the style of this show has a very specific comedic style. So talk to us a little bit about how that comedic style has impacted the storytelling, and what are some things that you've learned through this style that we were working on.
Yeah, so this style is very vaudevillian. It's very interesting to learn. I remember the first rehearsal we had, it was me and Ava, and we were doing the scene before Follow Your Heart. And it was weird because everything is so sharp and deliberate, and it makes, when you're first starting, you're like, whoa, what am I doing? How do I do this? How do I isolate this part of my body to do this and the movement and all of it? And it's a lot to think through, especially your first rehearsal. So Ava and I definitely had to learn a lot that day. But it makes so much sense when you're doing it and there's an audience in front of you and you can hear everyone laughing and you're like, oh, I get it now. This makes sense. But it's very specific, extremely specific. And if the movement's just a little bit off, it doesn't read the same way. So it's very specific, but at the same time, just so interesting to play around with. I remember standing up in my room and being like, okay, I know my lines, but I have to do the movement with it because the movement's just as important. And the comedy in the show is so well thought out because obviously we have an amazing team of directors. But it's so cool to be able to learn that and to be able to see it and just like experience it. It's something that I really didn't know much about before the show. So to be able to really like, I'm not a master at it, but I feel like I've come a long way since we've been doing it. And I feel like everyone can probably say the same.
Sammy, what you had a comment about it?
Yeah, when I'm doing the show, like, well, Beryl is already like a funny character himself, and he's kind of like weird and everything. Oh, hi, Grandma. No, but I almost feel like a cartoon character. Like it's very it's vaudevillian, but it's also very like cartoony, and it's so much fun to play with. And I like how everyone in every scene, like there's always multiple comedy aspects. So as the audience member, each night you see the show, you can catch something different each night. Like there's a new type of experience that like will give you like a laugh every night. It's really cool.
I agree with that. I mean, me teaching the music, I don't get to see the scenes until we do the act 1 run through or the act 2 run through or the whole show run through. And there are so many things that crack me up that I'm catching at different places on the stage. I'm like, what? So Noah and Alex, their characters play the narrators. And how you had your hand raised, Noah, to comment about the last question. And imagine as a narrator, it gets a different aspect as well for both of you.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I'm very used to playing. Like Lockstock is very different from a character that I normally think I would play. So it's been a challenge, and I'm very used to playing characters that are very real. And like this show is like beyond what real life is. It's like what's bigger than life. That's the
over the top.
Over the top.
Yeah.
It's really fun. And playing the narrator, I mean, I get to kind of watch the show at some points, which is kind of cool, and I get to tell people what's happening, which is always a thrill.
Yeah. So we with this storytelling more so than some other stories, although we always try to plant a few Easter eggs in all of our shows. For the longest time, we were putting Les Mis Easter eggs in shows. We've planted a lot in this one. What are some Easter eggs that people should keep their eyes out for, and don't spoil the big one at the end?
People are like, what can I say without spoiling? Go ahead, Ava.
Well, a lot of like the theme that you guys went for with the costumes and the set was like recycling, because the show is a lot about the environment and climate change and how like what we do affects the earth. And so a few costumes, and mine personally, are found from old GCPA shows, which is kind of cool. So if you're a big follower of all GCPA shows, you could probably pick out a few costumes you're like, oh, I've seen that before, which is cool.
Yeah. Thomas.
So there's a lot of references to a lot of the different GCPA shows. There's a lot from Music Man. There's one from West Side Story. My favorite one, though, doesn't come from a GCPA show. It's an ode to Wicked. That's my favorite one. It gets me every time. I get to live my Elphaba fantasies. And it's just like, it's so fun because as we were blocking everything, it was like, oh my gosh, this works for this, and this is referencing this, and it was so fun to be able to like discover new things every single time. And there's so many. Isn't there like a list of every single like show? It's insane. I was going through it with Hope one day, and I was like, whoa. And then when you sit there and you watch the show, if you've seen them, it's like, oh my gosh, I remember that. That's so cool. So yeah.
Yeah, we've got a running list of all of the Easter eggs that we've put in the show. And the list is pretty long.
It is.
Yeah. Sammy, what's one of the Easter eggs that you were thinking of?
I was just gonna say that like out of like when I go to GCPA, like something that I always stare at is like the poster wall of all the shows. So sometimes I feel like in every scene, like you just throw a dart at one of them and you're like, that reference, this scene. And like for anyone that has been in GCPA or seen a GCPA show, like I guarantee you will recognize at least one reference. I think you should make a checklist, and like whoever, sees all of them, they win a special prize.
Maybe we needed to make like a bingo board and they can check mark when they saw the reference.
So Lydia just made reference to a friend's reference that we ultimately took out. Does somebody want to share that story? Nobody wants to share that story of the dance? Ava, all right.
I was like the only one in the cast like not in that dance because I'm not in the opening number, but I got to watch everyone do it and film Stephanie's reaction when she came back after Paul had introduced some new choreography at a choreography rehearsal that Stephanie was not present at. So that was really hilarious where he added some choreography from Friends, the TV show, into our opening number where, yes, hopefully it never happens again. Let it fall, but that was not the vibe of the show, I don't think, but definitely it was hilarious to see Stephanie's reaction to Paul's choreography choices.
So that's obviously a funny story from the show. Does anyone else have any funny stories from the show that you'd like to share? Or from the rehearsal process?
Ian and Annalise were ready for that one.
So it was not funny at the time.
It was a little funny.
But looking back now, it is. So at the end of Snuff That Girl, Annalise and I kind of bounce off each other. And so at one of the choreography rehearsals, we went to bounce against each other and my hand flew out and I whacked her right in the nose.
He punched me like right on my nose.
So
and I like instantly started bawling and like tried to keep doing the number, which didn't really work because we were like right at the front of the stage for that part and everyone kind of saw Ian like me in the face.
So we can laugh about it now.
Well, it's funnier because Hope and I went to go get ice and then I came back and then Ian is crying because he was like sad that he hit me in the nose.
Aw, that's very sweet.
But I thought it was really funny because like it hurt at the time, but after all, it wasn't that bad. But that was, I don't know, it's just like really funny to laugh about it now.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have a funny story they want to share? No? Oh, Alex.
Alex.
So it was in a rehearsal, I think with Noah, and Paul was there because it was the acting part of the rehearsal, and it was in the middle end of the first number, and I had so much physicality built up in me because my character is like so high energy, and I had pennies in my hoodie pocket, and so I jumped up and leaped to run to Noah, and all my pennies just went everywhere, fell on the floor. It was embarrassing but funny.
So I've got a follow-up to that story. So when the band's visit was in town, Janet DeCall came in and did a workshop at GCPA, and she wanted a prop to use with one of the coachings that she was doing, and she pulled oatmeal up off of the desk there. And of course, oatmeal has pennies in their pockets. And so she picked it up and she threw it in the middle of the song at the person that she was working with, and the pennies went everywhere. And the look on Janet's face was, sorry? I didn't know that was going to happen.
Didn't expect a stuffed animal to have pockets with pennies in it.
Yeah, Noah.
I just wanted to say something that's kind of funny is a lot of things that have maybe like accidentally gone wrong during rehearsal, like funny little stories like that, were so funny that they might have been added in the show at some points.
Yes.
I think that's just really cool and that's funny.
And I think we can take might out of that sentence and say absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Sammy.
I like all the times where we didn't have like the prop that we needed, so we had to make a substitute, like all the times in choreography where Noah and I would have to use hangers for Billy clubs instead of, our actual props. And it was really fun because we'd always have to like hang them on our shoulders and they would get in the way when we would dance. It was fun. Yeah.
So donate so we can get real props. No, I'm just teasing. We have real props. We just don't always have them in the very beginning of the process.
So, so I do want to make mention, we have surpassed the $5,000 mark here in our fundraising today. So thank you so much for your generosity. Please keep that coming. Our goal is $7,500 for the day. If we reach $30,000, I will shave my head. And this is a power hour. So if you're watching right now, and it's still in the 3 o'clock hour, go ahead and make a donation. We get some bonuses from those donations. So please know that whatever you're able to donate is getting bonused right now. So please do that. We only have a couple more minutes left. So let's go round robin so that everybody gets an opportunity to answer this question.
There's 2 questions left. We originally planned. We don't have to do them all.
Okay. So
why would you recommend GCPA? Someone come to GCPA.
So we'll do round robin on that question and get everybody in a chance to answer that question. So why would you suggest somebody come to GCPA? And let's start in my bottom left-hand corner with Ian and Annalise.
I think people should come to GCPA because when you're there, it really feels like you have like a new family. And I think we could say that GCPA is our favorite place in the world. And like, I don't know, we've been to a lot of other, we've been to a lot of other shows and done like dance a lot of other places. And GCPA is by far the place where we feel the most supported. And just like, I don't know, it's just like the most love. And I think that's super important. And the environment we have at GCPA is just something you really can't find anywhere else. And it's just awesome.
Thank you.
Ditto.
Let's hear from Jenna.
Hi. So, like Annalise said, I've been in a lot of shows and I've been in a lot of theater companies, but I've never been in a show more fun and exhilarating. This company does a really great job of setting up the show and piecing together the story, even if it's the tiniest details about the show. And when I walked into the room of GCPA, I immediately loved it. The people there are so nice and it's such a great community. And on top of all of that, I've never heard less drum in my life. I love how professional they are and how they can care for their students and their peers. And they're just so much fun. And best of all, you can start at a young age and you don't have to, and they don't just help you become better actors, they help you become better people. And it's like having a second family to go to when you're needed. I know whenever I walked in, Paul made fun of me a little bit and it was really funny. And I had such of a great time and I just felt really, really welcomed there and it was just so much fun.
Awesome. Sammy, do you have?
Yeah, so I was just gonna say everyone like feels included. Like I started when I was younger, maybe like 11 or 12, and I was almost the youngest person in the cast, and still just like on the first day everyone treated me the same way, even from like the seniors in high school, and I was a 6th grader, and like we just all got along. Like everyone gets along so well and you become so comfortable around them. Like I have told like so many of my GCPA friends so many things. It's so like it's just crazy. Like they become like your new sort of family that you can tell everything to and just like have a fun time with.
Thank you, Sammy.
Thank you, Sammy.
Thomas.
When I first came to GCPA, immediately I was very nervous. I was freaking out. It wasn't a role I'd ever played before. And immediately I realized that it was a place where I would be challenged and I would be built up, and my confidence like soared. Because of all the support that you get. And it really is truly a family. The directors and the teachers and everyone care about you so much more than you even realize. And it's truly so great to be in a place where you feel so supported and challenged and like you're growing. But at the same time, if you ever need anything, you can always go to them.
Thank you, Thomas. Ava.
Well, I love GCPA just in the fact that even when I have a tough day at school and I'm like, oh, I just want to go home and like lay in my bed, I'll go to rehearsal and just feel automatically better because I'm surrounded by so many other people that enjoy what they do, which is really important. And everyone's there to just create together, which is such an amazing thing, as well as the fact that it's so professional and it's one of the most like professional youth theater companies I've ever worked with, which is so cool. And you just get that experience that like, you know, it's just going to be such a great show, and everyone's working so hard to put together that show, which is really rewarding. Also in the fact that it's just a great family, like everyone else has said. And it's like, you always can go to anybody, anyone in the cast, any of the directors, any of the stage managers, anybody, and talk if you need them. Or, you know, it's just such a great family, which I love.
Excellent. Thank you, Ava.
Thank you.
Noah.
So yeah, I mean, family, the space at GCPA, I mean, I agree with everything everyone said. It's a family, you know, the directors, and also it's like Ava said, it's super professional. Like even the little things like signing into a call board, like that's kind of like, well, that's kind of fun. Like little things, like that's professionals do that. And you're like, it kind of feels like I'm a real professional. And that's really cool to do. At least it's a lot of little things too, just in the family and the professional. I know it sounds generic, but it's very true. That's the thing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks, Noah.
And then
Alex.
So my first GCPA show was Thoroughly Mar and Millie, and it was like my first musical with other kids my age, and I was super nervous about it. But when I walked into GCPA, this was back when we were in the gym, and it was just so welcoming, and it was so well put together. And I remember like moving the tap boards to the tap board place with everybody, and that was just so connecting. And then seeing GCPA grow, seeing the other students grow and myself grow, it makes me so super happy. And those memories, even from way back then, travel with you to now and in the future. And that's what's most important to me. Like GCPA is, I travel between two different families, and GCPA is like my biggest family, and it's the one I care most about. Well,
we understand.
Yeah. And it's a really good experience to have, and you just make friends with people that you won't forget.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, you know, we asked this question not to be like, ooh, brag about ourselves, about GCPA, but because we want everyone to know the experiences that people have and the reason why to donate to GCPA, so that we can continue giving these experiences, giving these opportunities to youth in the St. Louis area. So you want to wrap up? We have to go because we have another one at 3:30. We want to thank all you guys and gals for being part of this. But do you want to wrap up, say something?
Yeah.
I'm not good
So we look forward to the day that we are able to bring Urinetown to the world post COVID-19. So keep your eyes out for that and this very talented cast. This is only a portion of the very talented cast that we have. So if you're continuing, if you've got some more time to spend with us, hang out on our page. We will be back in just a few short minutes where we've got Little Leads Part 2. So we've got some of our younger actors who are going to talk about their experience with GCPA as well. So Urinetown gang,
thank you
so much. It's wonderful to see your faces, and we'll see everybody in a few minutes.
Meanwhile, donate.